The moment you stop negotiating with your comfort, something inside you begins to reorganize itself. Most people move through life reacting to whatever feels easiest in the moment. They wake up and search for convenience, not growth. They avoid pressure, avoid difficulty, avoid the very conditions that would sharpen them. Over time, this avoidance becomes identity. They start believing they are not capable, not disciplined, not built for more. But the truth is simpler. They have never forced themselves to stay long enough in discomfort for change to take root. Growth does not appear dramatically. It builds quietly through repeated decisions that no one else notices. When you choose focus over distraction, effort over excuses, and consistency over intensity, you step into a different version of yourself. This version is calm, not loud, controlled, not emotional. He does not need constant recognition because he understands that results are built in private before they appear in public. Most people want transformation without the repetition required to sustain it. They want progress without routine, confidence without evidence, and success without structure. But life does not reward intention alone. It rewards aligned action repeated long enough to reshape identity. When you accept that reality, you stop searching for shortcuts and start building standards. And once your standards rise, your behavior naturally follows them. Discipline is often misunderstood as something harsh or restrictive, but in reality it is what creates clarity. Without discipline, your attention gets pulled in every direction. You start many things and complete few. You rely on motivation, and when motivation fades, so does your progress. A disciplined mind does not depend on mood. It depends on structure. It builds systems that function regardless of how you feel. Every time you follow through on a commitment you made to yourself, you reinforce trust in your own reliability. That trust becomes quiet confidence. You begin to know that when you decide to act, you will act. This certainty changes how you move through the world. You stop over-explaining your goals. You stop seeking constant reassurance. You stop delaying the work that matters. Instead, you execute. You improve. You repeat. Over time, this consistency compounds into results. Not instantly, not dramatically, but steadily. Your tolerance for distraction decreases. Your patience increases. Your standards rise. You become more selective with your time and energy because you recognize their value. Discipline is not about punishment. It is about alignment. It is about building a life that reflects what you claim to want rather than what is easiest in the moment. As you begin to change, your environment will respond. Some people will support your growth, but others will feel unsettled by it. This is not always intentional. When you become more focused and intentional, you disrupt patterns that others are comfortable with. Your discipline highlights possibilities they may not be ready to confront. This can create distance. That distance can feel like isolation. Many people interpret this phase as a signal to slow down or return to what feels familiar. But this phase is often a sign that you are moving in the right direction. Growth requires separation from habits and mindsets that no longer serve you. It requires learning to work without constant validation. You must become comfortable progressing quietly. The strongest individuals are not those who are always supported. They are those who continue even when recognition is minimal. During this phase, anchor yourself in your purpose. Remember why you started. Remember the version of yourself you are building. Each focused hour, each disciplined decision, each repeated effort moves you forward. Eventually, what once felt uncomfortable becomes routine. What once required effort becomes habit. And what once seemed out of reach becomes part of your identity. Control is at the center of personal growth, and most people give it away without realizing it. When your behavior depends entirely on your mood, your environment controls you. When your progress depends on motivation, your emotions control you. Discipline returns control to you. It allows you to act regardless of temporary feelings. This does not mean ignoring your emotions. It means not letting them dictate your direction. The moment you build the ability to execute even when you do not feel like it, you create stability. Stability builds momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence builds identity, and identity shapes every decision you make. When you see yourself as someone who follows through, you stop negotiating with procrastination. You stop delaying what matters. You move with purpose. This internal shift is powerful because it cannot be taken away by external circumstances. It is built through repetition. Every completed task, every kept promise to yourself becomes evidence. That evidence accumulates until doubt loses its influence. You no longer question whether you can do the work. You simply do it. This is the foundation of lasting change. Environment plays a larger role in behavior than most people admit. If your surroundings encourage distraction, your focus will weaken. If your routine lacks structure, your progress will slow. But when you design your environment intentionally, discipline becomes easier to maintain. Remove what constantly pulls your attention away. Add elements that support your goals. Create routines that reduce unnecessary decisions. When your day has structure, your mind has clarity. Many people rely solely on willpower, and willpower is limited. Structure supports you when energy is low. It ensures that even on difficult days, progress continues. Start with simple systems. Define what matters most. Complete those tasks before allowing distractions to take over. Protect your attention. In a world filled with noise, focus is a valuable resource. If you do not protect it, it will be consumed by trivial things. Discipline is not about rigidity, it is about intention. It is about choosing actions that move you toward your goals rather than away from them. When you operate with intention, you stop drifting. You start directing your life. And once you experience the results of consistent direction, it becomes difficult to return to aimless movement. Patience is one of the most overlooked elements of transformation. People want rapid change. They want visible results quickly. When progress appears slow, they assume something is wrong. They abandon routines before they have time to work. But meaningful change compounds gradually. Each day of focused effort adds a small layer. Individually, these layers seem insignificant. Together, they create momentum. You must learn to trust the process, even when the outcome is not immediately visible. This requires a shift in perspective. Instead of measuring success only by external results, measure it by internal consistency. Are you showing up? Are you following through? Are you improving slightly each day? These are the indicators that matter most. When you commit to consistent action, results become inevitable over time. They may arrive slower than you expect, but they arrive stronger. Patience prevents you from quitting prematurely. It keeps you aligned with long-term goals. When you combine patience with discipline, you create stability. Stability allows progress to accumulate, and accumulated progress eventually becomes undeniable evidence of change. There will always be moments of doubt, moments when the easier path looks appealing, moments when you question whether the effort is worth it. These moments are part of the process. They do not mean you are failing. They mean you are pushing beyond familiar limits. During these moments, return to your standards. Remind yourself of the identity you are building. You are not working only for immediate results. You are working to become someone who follows through. Someone who does not quit when things become difficult. Someone who respects their own potential enough to invest in it consistently. Each time you continue despite resistance, you strengthen this identity. Over time, resistance loses its power. What once felt difficult becomes normal. Your capacity expands. Your resilience grows. You begin to trust yourself more deeply because you have evidence that you can handle discomfort. This self-trust is powerful. It allows you to move forward without constant reassurance. It allows you to make decisions based on long-term alignment rather than short-term comfort. Eventually, the person you are becoming will feel natural. The routines that once required effort will feel automatic. The discipline that once felt restrictive will feel freeing. You will notice that you no longer rely on motivation to begin. You rely on structure. You no longer depend on external validation to continue. You depend on internal standards. This shift is subtle but profound. It changes how you carry yourself. It changes how you respond to challenges. It changes how you see your own potential. The journey toward this version of yourself is not about perfection. It is about consistency. It is about choosing actions that align with your goals repeatedly until they define you. Stay committed to the process. Stay patient with the results. Continue building evidence through action. Over time, the gap between who you were and who you are becoming will close. You will look back and realize that transformation did not happen in one dramatic moment. It happened through hundreds of small decisions made when no one was watching. And those decisions, repeated long enough, shaped the person you are now.